Good evening, I'm Pallavi Ghosh, and finally the race for the Rashtrapati Bhavan is going to come to a closure tomorrow when the polling begins from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. But what a series of twists and turns it has been. It has just gone on to show that the opposition is extremely fragile. This entire idea of opposition being united and coming under one umbrella has completely been shattered. It's also gone on to show that the BJP is a whiz kid when it comes to throwing up surprises. Rashtrapati Murmu is a many first in the selection by the NDA. It's going to be our focus over the next half hour to discuss whether it's changed and whether it will change the political dynamics in a run-up to the big elections of 2024. So it's going to be a big battle between Rashtrapati Murmu on one side, who is the NDA's candidate, and no guesses there as to the numbers she's going to be stacking up. But against her is the opposition's candidate, Yashwant Sinha, who in a last-minute appeal has written to all the opposition leaders and political parties that do vote for me, vote for democracy. So that's the pitch which has been put up by Yashwant Sinha and the opposition parties against the NDA's candidate. But let's take a look at Rashtrapati Murmu, who's the BJP's choice for Rashtrapati Bhavan. She in fact has many firsts which are attached to her. First of all, she's the first tribal leader to be the president of India. So that's one big fact which is stacked up in her presence. And this is something which is going to come across as a big surprise and perhaps responsible for the changes or crossovers which we have seen in terms of those who are going to land up voting for her. For example, the Shiv Sena, it may have been a bit of parting between the Shiv Sena and the BJP, but when it comes to the voting for the presidential elections, in a surprise crossover just days after the Maharashtra government fell, the Shiv Sena has decided to back Rashtrapati Murmu. This is to avoid any further exits. At least that is what the sense is, why the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena is actually supporting Rashtrapati Murmu. It would also pave the way, will it actually pave the way for the return of the Shiv Sena to the NDA? No surprises in the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha or the JMM support to Rashtrapati Murmu, because after all, Jharkhand is a tribal dominant state, and for the politics of Hemant Soren and his party, it was important that he be by the side of Rashtrapati Murmu and break away from the opposition. Remember, they are in an alliance with the Congress party in the states. He cannot be seen voting against a tribal leader. That's the simple reason why the JMM has decided to go ahead and support the NDA's candidate. Murmu and Hemant Soren, in fact, are from the same Santhal tribal community. That also explains why it was very difficult for JMM to turn its back to her. 26.21% of the tribal population is actually in Jharkhand. So his political future rests on it. But apart from that, no surprises, but there are many other developments in terms of who's ending up supporting Rashtrapati Murmu. In fact, Sahdev Bharatiya Samaj Party, the SBSP, they have also decided to support the NDA's candidate. He's a leader of the Rajbhar. His also gesture is seen to be as an outreach to the BJP. Janata Dal Secular, ahead of the Karnataka elections, the interests are very much being kept in mind. So the JDS too has decided to support Rashtrapati Murmu. No surprises, because this is political reasons which is behind them. Also, in case of a hung assembly, he could have access to Rashtrapati Bhavan becomes crucial, and therefore they really have to be seen on the right side, which means the opposition certainly looks very divided and fragile. I'm just going to throw the